You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, a city on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Conway. Look y'all, it looks like I actually loaded up the right version this time, so let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go! Wolf's Path, by the way. Alrighty. The stupid idea of one person just gets amplified by everyone on this thing, egging them on. You see, Rabbit, the reason for that is it always ends in a laugh. Someone will do something stupid and we all get a laugh about it. That's the reason why you always egg on stupid decisions like that. We don't exactly have much else to do for entertainment, do we? What's odd is that... Well, what's odd is that it's not what irritates me the most about memory. Well, what is it then? I overcooked the meat. I was so focused on sorting out the heat that I forgot about the rest of the meal. A tragedy, but I don't think they'll have noticed. Maybe you should try it again sometime here, with a more adventurous crew. Maybe. That is, once I can get more spices. You join their chuckles for a moment before turning back to your bowl. I mean, I'm sure the meat not being satisfactory was a great loss for you, but that hardly sounds like it compares to being dismissed from the ship. Do any of you perhaps have more fitting stories about your bad days? I guess just to not feel quite so alone in it. Who do you ask? Nomax. What about you? You look over to the wild dog in his smart black and gold clothing, trying to steady himself against one of the beams. What do you mean? He sighs heavily, poking at his food, clearly put off by the unceasing swaying, pitching, and rolling of the ship. Is that not quite obvious? His tone is unfriendly, other than the usual. Perhaps he, too, had heard from the crew about what had happened. For the moment, you regret asking him at all, but before you can make apologies and forget the whole thing, he continues. Well, I hate to say it, but to answer your question is most certainly the whole trip. No offense to present company intended. The storm isn't exactly making it any better. The wild dog sighs, sound ending with a characteristic squeak from his species. Untaken. Samuel smirks, taking a moment to flash a grin between yourself and Regia. To be quite honest, ending up about the ship really is the culmination of some unfortunate circumstances. Botany is, well, at least for many of us, not the most stable endeavor, and most of my work comes from the apothecary business. He folds his ears back, embarrassed that his situation would be by far better off than most. My patron was, well, still is, I suppose, a wealthy provider of botanical ingredients for a variety of medicinal salves. I'm sure you might be familiar with some of them. Regia, was it? He takes a moment to look over to the cheetah, who nods slowly. I have some idea, yes, but I don't think this is quite the company for that topic. That's fair. Anyway, before all this, I used to be quite comfortable. I was paid to cultivate and tend to the more exotic and fickle specimens, working in this beautiful house in the countryside. Peace and quiet, and so many interesting plants. The wild dog adjusts the neatly balanced glasses on his muzzle, leaning his head in his paws and looking off to somewhere far away. The memory must be pleasant enough that his body relaxed, losing the tension that had kept him like a tense wire. I was quite happy here doing my work, learning more, making notes and observations. Then my patron fell on hard times. She sold the house, the one I was residing in, and sent me on this journey. I'm here trying to find something remarkable halfway around the world for her, all in the hopes that it'll prove more effective than the new chemicals starting to take hold. That's largely because I'm afraid they tend to be more effective and cheaper, too. That may very well be. I just wish that it wouldn't lead me on whatever this fool's errand is. She is a bit of an odd lady, but I guess she views this as an opportunity for the business. A chance for me to find anything that is not widely known in Europe. Some sort of mystical exotic plant, I suppose. She always talks about how people there practice and draw from their oneness with nature. I guess it is just an enticing thought for someone in the business of making and selling medicine. Something that cures every ailment known to the world, which, naturally, could only be found on the other side of the globe. And, well, I have been given the simple task of finding it. Simple? So, she's shipping you across the globe to another resident in South Africa to save money? I might have to adjust my own views of her products even further if that is her solution to the problem. And you just went along with it? Well, I owe her for what she provided me with, I guess. So I agreed and said that I would try. Nomax dips his head, busying himself from contemplating the personal implications of that future out loud. You sigh, letting your head rest in your palm. Just all it's missing is knowing how I want to do it. And winning Arthur over, that is. I think you're thinking about it too much. There's not going to be any one plan that you can execute to fix it all. It's not how you get into people's good graces. Well, but I have to do something. Time isn't exactly on my side. Come to think of it, Sam, Perce mentioned something to me. Samuel doesn't finish chewing before he speaks up, rubbing out some stiff spot on his neck. Blackborough? You nod. What did he tell you? Well, essentially that it might be worth a shot to try to pay him off. Arthur, that is. I guess you could try that. You wouldn't be the first one. Can't say that I'm necessarily in favor of it. It feels, I don't know, icky, I guess. When the reason you're tolerated is for whatever presents you bring, you know? But that's just me. Some grease helps makes the wheel spin, even on a ship. Especially on a ship. And many a conflict has been solved over a bottle. Something to smoke, good food, or whatever it may be. Though, you're a farmer's boy, you not? What do you want to bring him? Like, water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back into it, shall we? Okay. Ooh, been a long day at work, y'all. Alright. Perce mentioned alcohol. Of course, he also offer you a deal on some. Kinda, yeah. Convenient. You don't sound like the closest of friends. He's a bit of an ass. I won't tell you no. I'm not your mother, after all. I'm just saying that he's a bit of an ass. He's a bit of an arse. For a moment, you just sit there, allowing your thoughts to stew. You console yourself by running your claws through your fur, stretching the back of your neck as you try to figure out what you want to do. Friends or not, if it will help solve this issue, then why not? Would hard work really be enough? So far, all evidence appears to be the contrary. You claw through your mind, trying to find the right answer as if it would manifest itself if you just think about it that little bit harder. Maybe it's not the worst idea to stack things in your favor. Perhaps even turning the tables, turning the screws on Arthur somehow, even if it felt underhanded. But the more you think about it, the more it begins to look the only chance you have. Yes. Well, why not make use of it? Screw his rules. If he isn't playing by them, then why should you try to be honest? You'll have to talk to Perce again. Sail him how you sees, me boys. You remember once, as a kitten, you stole some bread from Carl Frank, the neighborhood baker. You hadn't even meant to. It was out with the other rubbish, baked the day before and never sold. Hell, Carl probably had thrown it away. But the moment he saw you take the stale half loaf, suddenly it was his again. He hadn't said anything, of course. Later that evening, he stopped by without thinking about it. You told your mother you had no idea what he was... blah. And without thinking about it, you told your mother you had no idea what he was talking about. That wasn't wrong. The only memory you had was that you were no longer so achingly hungry. What voice was I doing for Perce? Were you going to say anything or just stare at me like an idiot? Carl came back the next day with a constable. He described the outfit you were wearing down to the unmended tear on the sleeve. Feeling the constable's glare, his judgment, you thought you would never feel so trapped again in your life. You have the same feeling now. You. The jackal stares at you expectantly. Yeah, you know my name. What do you want? I need your help. Getting the words out only makes the sense of being trapped that much more acute. So? You said you had some alcohol, you know, something I could use as... The only thing that helps is that Perce is nowhere near as threatening as the constable. You know his type. I remember watching them gang up on the weaker kids back at home. But, just like asking for his help, the words you need to say tighten like a snare around you. As a bribe. The jackal laughs raucously at that. It is not, you think, an especially pleasant laugh. I didn't say anything like that. I just said I knew how you might smooth things over. And hell, you know, it's a long journey. He looks at you, pointedly, almost leering. Some alcohol would definitely smooth things over, yeah? You arguing? I'm not arguing, no. I'm just wondering what I need to do for it. He leans back, looking over you like he was sizing up a hanging side of meat at a butcher's shop. It's not a gaze that makes you feel particularly like you're negotiating from a position of strength. The tone of his voice only confirms it. What is on my arm? Just water. Weird. The tone of his voice only confirms it. What's that mean? Oh, you mean your little seamstress act? I heard about that one. Fine then, maybe you don't exactly need your clothes mended. Or I can do it myself. Or that, but you steal yourself. Rally. I'm not stupid. You'd have mentioned it if it wasn't on the table somehow, so what would it take? What are you looking for? You make it worth my while, that's all. You're not much for standing watch, of course, and those delicate little hands of yours. What about them? For a moment, he almost seems like he has some idea in mind, something less debauched than his demeanor would suggest. Then he shakes his head. They're nice, but not what I'm really after, you know? Not like I'm gonna slack off and let you handle the sales, either. So what else do you have? Something I can't do by myself. And that isn't a needle and thread. He smirks. Surely you can think of other ways to be useful, kitten. And the jackal stares at you again until you finally realize what he's talking about. Oh. The jackal's smirk twists into a sneering grin. Oh. As I said, it's a long journey. Don't tell me you haven't considered it. And the audience? Where would we even... You don't got no imagination? What else do you think the after-peak is for? You tilt your head, uncertain if you've misunderstood him or if he's trying to make a joke. What do you mean? The after-peak hole. I changed in port, but right, we've just been keeping some ropes there. Hell. Showing teeth, he leers at you. Worst that could happen is I gotta chase somebody else out first, but now I bet that little mouth of yours will be worth it. Without intending to, you glance aft, towards the hatches that led into the ship's holds. Hey, it's your future, James. You came to me, didn't you? Don't look so shocked. Now, what are we waiting for? You're not sure if you really like this. It's clear what he expects of you, but are you really willing to sink this low? Is this the right moment to develop second thoughts? Do you even have another option? Will you go through with it? No. Hell no. I don't like Perce. He's a dick. You want to stay on the ship. Yes, of course you do, but you never thought you'd have to go this far for it. You know what, Perce? He perks up, his grin fading as he senses where this is going. Yes? Don't tell me you're getting cold feet. You're getting cold feet. He shrugs theatrically, leaning back against the wood behind him. Well, if you have the desire to explore Morocco a little longer, just don't come crawling back to me when you change your mind again. This is a one-time offer, kid. You swallow and nod meekly. You'd rather take your chances than anything but this. Perce waves you off with an annoyed shake of his head, with you leaving the jackal behind as you make your way across the deck. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!